For the past 5 years, the Kitsillas people have been creating their own cultural renaissance at home in Kitsillas Canyon, just east of Terrace. They've built a village for cultural tourism, and they've raised 10 poles, including recreations and interpretations of poles by past master carvers. To develop, carve, and raise the poles for this project, the community commissioned master carver and master teacher Stan Bevan, renowned for his own long history as a champion of Tlingit and Tsimshian art. The project has resulted in a number of firsts.
We were able to raise the first poles in 150 years, and the first pole to go up here was the beaver pole behind me. And on that day, it was a very, very exciting and special day for the community. And then we went down the following next year. We raised 4 more poles right near the historical village. Those are the first to go up on the river. And then last year, it was another first for our community. Was the first pole with part of our Kitsillas history to be recreated and recarved and put up in front of our administration building.
For Stan, it's been a very busy 5 years.
In the last 5 years, I've been teaching at the college, the Freda School of Northwest Coast Art. And then when the school's out in the summertime, I'd come to our community and then create the totem poles and also teach members from our community on carving totem poles. So my own work has sort of suffered. I've been creating, but I haven't had time to finish projects. But the nice thing about teaching at the college and working in the community is that I've learned so much by doing all that.
In fact, Stan has been learning by teaching all over the North for most of his 20 years as a professional artist.
Teaching in Alaska, teaching in the Yukon, and teaching in many of the smaller communities in British Columbia.
Bringing all that experience back to work for his community and his culture is a source of great joy.
The joy I get out of teaching is being able to know that we're planting seeds to set new standards in the art, so that one day the art will be recognized as a fine art.
In all his projects, Stan gives young artists and students a chance to get hands-on experience to go with their formal training.
Teaching yourself is very important, but also doing it is very important, because you can only learn as much as you do too, because you can't see anything you don't know.
He says art is a way of life and teaches students that there are 3 important areas to understand as a First Nations artist.
One is to be a cultural artist, where you're doing work for your community or you're doing regalia. And the second is to be a teacher, teaching the art, teaching it in the community, teaching it in the schools. And the third is a professional artist.
He's optimistic that this approach to teaching will result in a bright future.
I believe that in a few years, some of these young people that have gone through the school will go on and become some of the leading artists in the North.
To secure that bright future, he's reaching into the past for inspiration. This pole is a reinterpretation of an ancient dog salmon pole from the late 1800s.
What I think is that we're not trying to recreate our past, we're creating our future. These poles in the community are for the future.
And today, this very special day, I dedicate this pole to the future of our children.
And so, with the completion and raising of this 10th pole in the Kitsillas Renaissance, that future begins.